Morning. Just recapping Missouri. Proud of the fight of these guys, and it's not just the last 3 weeks; it's the last really 5-6 weeks since we dropped week one, and just the resiliency these guys have, and it's in games, and it's just them just sticking together. They're playing for each other. Got to keep it rolling. It doesn't happen on its own. It happens through hard work. It happens through building trust and belief, through practice and great habits there. And it's carrying over to the football field, helping us find ways to win when it matters most. And so team football, I think, probably some of the best team football stacking weeks on top of each other that I've ever been a part of. It's not perfect. You guys see that, but it's team. It's a team sticking together. It's a team covering for each other. Doing some of the things that we couldn't do a year ago. One side of the ball coming through, getting points on the board. The other side getting a stop, 3 and out. Changing field position that way. Kicks when we need it. Pinning teams back inside their own 20 in different games. Just playing team football, and that's what matters right now. So I think there's a toughness that we have, and we talk about toughness wins. That's mental, physical, to emotional toughness. I think proud of the way our guys, turnover-wise, continue to win that battle each and every week. We're winning the time of possession. We took I think we didn't shut them down, but we took a lot of the things that Missouri did well and flipped the script on that from a time of possession standpoint, and kept them from being able to have as many plays as they'd like to be able to continue to hammer away with their run game. That's team football right there. And then I think the penalties too. I'm not afraid to talk about it with all those things because it happens through work. You create your own luck. You create your own breaks. Could used a few more breaks when the ball was on the ground. Those will fall in our hands as long as we continue to hustle and get to it. But now the whole thing is about sustaining the energy because each week, right? Each week has been stacked on top of itself, and these guys have been bringing it at a high level in practice. And get a great opponent with Tennessee coming in here this weekend. Understand the rivalry, and it's a lot of fun for our fans, and it goes back obviously generations. We understand how big of a deal this game is to them. We understand how big of a deal this game is to us right now in the season that we're in, and that's what we're focused on. But Coach Heupel, nothing but the utmost respect for him and his staff, just what they're doing, what he's done. Tennessee, his coaching career, an outstanding coach, great football mind. You can see it on the football field. You can see the culture that they've built there too, and looking forward to a great game. We need our fans loud, extremely loud. We need an environment, that's the best in the country here this weekend. Again, we're playing for a lot each week, and we appreciate the support we get. Our players feel the energy and feed off of it. So,
thanks, Coach. Start with Charlie on the right.
Coach, I was going to see if you had an update on some of the guys that popped up on the availability report last week. That's Jalen Hale, Jalen Mbakwe, and Caden Jones.
Jalen's been sick. Jalen Hale's been sick. That was the reason why he last minute got put on the report. Who else?
Jalen Mbakwe and Caden Jones.
Bach had a hand injury in practice last week, and he'll be back out there practicing, and we'll see kind of as the week goes on how he goes there. Obviously, he plays receiver, so that affects you a little bit, but there's other things he can do for our football team, and he's in great spirits, and so he'll go through that. Jam, and Derek will both be going through their protocol this week. I hit it on everyone? Caden Jones, he had to have surgery on an ankle injury, and so he'll be down for a little while.
Far left, Chase.
After the game, Ty said that he missed a lot of protection checks against Missouri. Is that ultimately completely his responsibility, or does some of that fall on Parker also?
A lot of how we orchestrate it, I think, is pretty easy to see from a football mind. Just that it starts with Parker getting things started, but Ty overrides everything. Ty makes he can see the big picture and knows really what he wants to get to, and so in the end, the quarterback whether it's a turnover and it's not his fault, it still falls on his shoulders, the protection checks. And so Ty, he holds himself to such a high level. He's going to take accountability for all of that. He's the one that needs to declare if something's not right or what he feels comfortable with, getting us into that protection. So we ask a lot out of him. He asks a lot of himself. And it doesn't surprise me that he holds himself accountable for all of that.
Let's go to Nick on the far right here.
Yeah, kind of the weekly Caden Proctor question about the latest use of him. What did you see in that play, and kind of a unique setup with Parker being on the very edge of the line, snapping it backward like that? Just kind of what goes into that working?
Yeah, I just think, Ryan Grubb and our offensive staff doing a great job, not just with that play, but everything we're doing, continue to force the issue, have creativity, force defenses to have to think about what's next, whether it's with that package or other things that we do. When you got, we're using it in big moments. It's something that we feel isn't just this exhibition. It's something where we feel like KP can do some things, and there's a positive in a way where we can gain yards in critical moments with him. So there's a trust that we have in him. So again, I think just in general, Ryan Grubb just doing a great job, continuing to push the envelope for our whole offense to continue to attack teams in different ways. People always think attack vertically in the passing game, but there's other ways to attack people, and doing it in those moments, it's great to see our guys execute and do a good job. Got a first down.
2 questions on the front row. We'll go to Emily Grace and then Colin.
Coach, when you look at the Missouri game as a whole, you mentioned the resiliency that this team has. Is there a moment that sticks out to you that really defines it, whether it's a conversation of the player, something you overheard, or just what you saw on the field from your team?
I think there's a lot of them. I think the first drive of the game, they go down the field on us, and we respond offensively with a touchdown. And then our defense goes back out there and gets the stop, and then we respond again. No one relaxing, no one flinching, even in that just sequence, 2 offense, 2 defensive series. Then I think the beginning of the second half, when we put the ball on the ground and give them a short field, they score a touchdown. That's a time where all of a sudden we had a 10-point lead, and now it's within a minute really of time on the clock, because it was the end of the half. They got a field goal and then a touchdown. All of a sudden we're in a tie game. And so, what's that look like? And it's coming back, and you can see it. And I know your question's about certain conversations, but I think it's just the look in our guys' eyes. They're in the locker room at halftime. I've referred to this a couple of times. They're looking to solve problems. There's energy. There's excitement to go back out there, continue to execute. There's not a timidness that they have. It's trust and belief in them and their side of the ball, but it's also a trust and belief that the other side's going to get it figured out. At some point, we're going to get it figured out. The game's going to come back to us if we're behind, and we're going to continue to execute and just continue to apply pressure when we're ahead.
Colin?
Hey, Kalen, you already mentioned this a little bit in this opening statement, but you guys are currently tied for the longest home win streak in college football. I'm curious about what separates your home atmosphere, whether it's from past places you've been or, just in your 2 years here. What separates Alabama's home atmosphere?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great environment here. I think it's the feeling you even have with the walk into the stadium, and there's just the players, we pull up in the buses and you can see everyone's ready to go. We better make sure we hold our end of the bargain too. And so, that goes into the week of preparation and the understanding of what it's even going to feel like when you're practicing on Tuesday. The excitement, that leads into wanting to make sure that we're at the top of our game on Saturday. So, and then you get in the environment and you need, crowd noise to affect the timing of the snap count for the opponent, the momentum and what that brings, when we're making plays. And so just huge to have that energy being at home. I think that would go for a lot of programs, but it's definitely a big deal here for us.
Go to Katie in the middle of the room.
I know you haven't been here for his whole time, but just what have you seen from Keon Keeley and his development and waiting his turn? And then Kane just talked about him having that big moment in the game on Saturday and just kind of the way he's come along.
Yeah, he just has done a good job of just being patient and but there's just things there's reasons that have kept him from getting on the football field that he just continues to work on. And, he's got potential to do some amazing things for us. And, working him into different packages this last week, I really liked the growth there. He's been involved in special teams a little bit more in the past few weeks as well. And so just continue to build each week. And as he gets more and more comfortable, I can see that impact being greater and greater. And so I'm really proud of who he's just a great kid in general. That's what makes it fun being on the football field with him. That's what makes you want to pour everything you got into him and help his growth. And then, he's humble and, obviously can make some plays. And so I'm looking to see more and more of him in the weeks ahead.
Go to Jamie on the front right.
Hey, Coach, you said before that every week tells you more about your team. After 3 consecutive ranked wins, what have you learned most about your group heading into Tennessee?
It's been a fight for these guys because it's not just those 3 games. We've had our backs to the wall since week 1, and there's a bye week in there, and so I think they've done a great job of taking whatever it is that is against us or whatever the doubt is that people have for our team and taking that energy and just pouring it into what matters most, and that's our preparation. And so this is another, there's a rivalry piece to this game, but there's also now just there's a confidence that we've built through some things, but we also got to go back to how did this all start? This all started with us just really being intentional on the work that we're doing. We've referred to just shut up, show up, and do the work. I mean, that's just really what we've kind of hold in on. And in everything we do, we just have an urgency level. And I'm really proud of the guys for not falling off that standard that we had, because that's what human nature is. You get comfortable. We've had 5 wins in a row now, and our conference and the schedule keeps you from, that's one thing that keeps you from falling off the standard, because every week if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. And so I'm just proud of the way the guys have been resilient in the matters, in the moments that matter most, and just continue to also understand how we've got there. And it's through hard work. It's through a lot of those things I said earlier with the team and the buy-in to each other, not wanting to let our teammates down. And so, again, we got a lot of room for improvement. You've heard from the coordinators and the areas that we've fallen short and the things that we feel we can do better.
All right, we're going to finish up all the way in the back right.
Coach, when you play tough week in, week out SEC opponents, physical, does that make you practice limited live reps, change the way you practice?
I think as the season goes along, you have to continue to keep that in mind on where is your team at. How is this taking a toll? Right now, I feel we're always monitoring it, but the pedal is down right now for our guys, and the GPS and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's other ways that we used to not be able to tell where our guys are at, and I think. From a practice habit standpoint, we practice as hard as you could imagine, and there's proof in that. It isn't just something, it's just the eyeball test. There's other pieces to it as well. But we also have to understand, with your question, that there are physical games being played on Saturdays, and there are certain guys that it hits different than others. And so, that shows up on Tuesday. It shows up on Wednesday. A lot of people read into reps and things like that. And why is this guy, his rep count down? There's probably a little bit more to that as well that, isn't seen because you're not at practice, and, who's maybe a little bit hobbled and dinged up, and, we're not making all that stuff known all the time, So I'm just really proud of the way these guys, each week, tomorrow morning, I really feel like I know what I'm going to get from our guys. I expect a high level of energy. I expect a high level of just effort, and they've risen to the occasion every week and haven't fallen off. And so that's a credit to them. That's a credit to our coaching staff for finding the ways to really keep them, on edge, keep them motivated, understand the importance of the work that we put in all day, each and every day.
Thank you.
You bet.